Christopher is more than a rhetorician. He does have to do that thing, and this is one of the reasons I admire him. He has to do that thing called work, where you actually have to find out facts. You have to rootle around, and you have to get them right, because the cost of getting them wrong is enormous, especially in America. It's a lawsuit. It's a lawsuit that can ruin you. And the side of Christopher that perhaps people don't understand, because it's the side they naturally never see, they see the famous, slightly shambling drinker and smoker who adorned so many platforms and made so many debates and was so extraordinary in his ability to speak perfectly without notes. Was so absolutely unbeatable in debate, possibly the greatest debater since Demosthenes. And what they don't see is the man alone in his library, or the man chasing sources, the man making sure that every word he writes is not only beautifully written, but is beautifully researched. And that is why books like the Kissinger book still bear reading time and time again, because they're kind of unarguable. Amongst the causes for which he is known, there is one, perhaps, which springs most readily to people's lips. And that is, if you like, he noticed, before many of us did, that the tide of the Enlightenment was being rolled back quite deliberately. And so he is very well known for, amongst other things, his extraordinary book, God is Not Great, How Religion Poisons Everything. And perhaps the best known, even better known than Christopher for such a thing, is the Emeritus Professor for the Understanding of Science from Oxford University, who, let us not forget it, is one of the great evolutionary biologists of his day. And I'm about to introduce him on stage now, Professor Richard Dawkins, ladies and gentlemen. Sit down. Well, Richard, in a sense, would it be fair to say that your anger at religion is not so much the prime cause of your life? It's just simply that you found it was getting in the way of a free education, of free thinking.
Yes, I think my anger, probably like Christopher's, is somewhat exaggerated, and it's exaggerated because people who are very devoted to religion, when they hear any kind of criticism, however mild, they think it's angry. And I think the reason is they're so unused to it, that even a relatively mild criticism, a criticism that would sound mild if it was a criticism of a piece of theatre or a restaurant or something, if it's religion, it sounds angry. Yeah. So I think that's exaggerated. He, I suppose, is angry because he sees the tyrannical God figure as a sort of dictator, a kind of North Korea horror figure.
So it's of a piece with his political thinking.
I'm sort of guessing there, whereas in my case, I think it's sort of educational. I feel that the subversion of young minds, teaching them the second-rate explanation for the existence of themselves and the universe, as opposed to the real one, given that the real one is so enthralling and fascinating. It's just so tawdry and so second-rate to fob them off with supernaturalism. So if, to the extent that I am angry, that's probably the main source of it.
Yeah, surprisingly, I think it was Yasser Arafat who said that the history of most of the wars of the world is quarrels over whose invisible friend was more powerful.
Yes. Right.
I suppose you will continue to get hate mail. I know Christopher has had the weird experience of having to decide which is weirder, the people who are praying for him, not necessarily even to get better, but to find faith in his moment of physical illness, or those who are gloating that he will roast for eternity in hell.
I think they're about equal in numbers, aren't they? I wonder whether when they say, I'll pray for you, he gives that wonderful reply, "I'll think for you."
Yes. Brilliant.